Call the meeting to order at 6:02. Entertain a motion to approve the January 13th, 2023 regular select board meeting. That should be 24.
Second.
Any questions? Any concerns? All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
4-0. We have some additions under new business. 9D Bartlett Tree Service email. 9E Town Hall request Leland and Gray Drama Department. 9F request from Liza Martin for a craft fair in the town hall. And let's see. Next thing we have is members of the public. Hey John, you good?
Oh, yeah.
All right. Correspondence. I received an email that I believe I passed out to everybody on the board from Senator Nader Hassan. Rob and I met with him, what was it? October, November? Yeah. And basically gave him a rundown of our concerns about not having law enforcement, especially for speed, and gave him a suggestion of the speed cameras. Basically the camera catches the plate number and the state police, sheriff's department, whoever writes the ticket. It's a rather complex thing because there's changes in the law that have to be made, but right now there are two bills, one in the House, one in the Senate, to do just that. So he certainly pushed for it on our behalf. The full text is in your packets. Let's see. Warrants, go ahead, Katie.
I'd like to make a motion to pay the warrants. Number 1, payroll in the amount of $15,503.84. Number 2, payroll taxes in the amount of $4,574.25. Number 3, general fund in the amount of $34,069.44. Number 4, highway in the amount of $10,625. Number 5, highway equipment in the amount of $3,265.80. For a total of $68,038.33.
Okay, there's a motion. Is there a second?
Second.
Any discussion? All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
4-0. Jeremy?
Really nothing to report, just regular winter maintenance at this point. That's about it.
Okay, any questions for Jeremy? Okay, thank you. Treasurer's report. In the municipal investment fund, $764,724. In the checking account, $30,000. The actual, the true fund balance is $261. Or $261,928.35. St. Albans, Vermont, that's a good one. All right. Town clerk's report. Total $1,114.50. I don't have anything outside of what we've already talked about. All right, the next thing is approve the warning for town meeting. It is the articles are pretty straightforward. Katie, why don't you read those into the record, so to speak.
Okay. Oh,
Yeah, start with Article 1.
okay. Article 1, to choose a moderator for the ensuing year. Article 2, to act upon the July 1st, 2022 to June 30th, 2023 Independent Auditor's Report. Article 3, to see what salaries the town will vote to pay its various officials for the ensuing year. Town clerk and town treasurer. The clerk and treasurer are paid from the general fund and not by fees that are collected. The budget represents the salaries for these offices. Please reference Article 7 of the town warning and the budget in the town report. Select Board, 1 chair, $1,500. 4 members, $5,200. Town clerk, assistant, and casual labor, $17.55. Article 4, to elect all town officials for ensuing years. Town clerk, 1-year term. Town treasurer, one-year term. Select Board, 1 3-year term. Select Board, 2 1-year terms. Listers. Okay. Delinquent tax collector, 1 1-year term. First constable, 1 1-year term. Second constable, 1 1-year term. West River Modified Union Education, 1 5-year term. Cemetery Commissioner, 1 5-year term. Library Trustee, 1 5-year term. Article 5, to see if the town will authorize the Select Board to set a tax rate sufficient to cover all monies raised from municipal entities for the period of July 1st, 2024 through June 30th, 2025, and to borrow money in anticipation of taxes. Article 6, to see if the town will authorize its property tax collector to receive its real property taxes quarterly, August 23rd, 2024, November 22nd, 2024, February 21st, 2025, and May 23rd, 2025. Monthly interest will be charged at the rate of 0.5% or a fraction thereof. Interest of 1% or fraction thereof plus penalties will commence on May 30th, 2023. Article 7, to see if the town will vote to appropriate $441,565 to pay for the running expenses and liabilities of the town, of which $267,827 to be raised in taxes.
Hold on 1 second.
Sure.
Connie, on Article 6, that last, is that right, May 30th, 2023? Or are we talking 2024?
They're all 2024. August 23rd, 2024, November 22nd, 2024, May 23rd, February 2025. They're all, there's no 2023 in there.
All right, the last thing in that line.
Oh, sorry, yes, that is 2020.
4 or 5?
Well, it's gotta be 4 because May's already come and gone.
Okay.
I can retype this if you don't want me to for the original, after we go through any errors.
Yep.
Okay.
Okay, go ahead.
Okay. Article 8, to see if the town will vote to appropriate $782,956 to pay for the running expenses and liabilities of maintaining the town's roads, of which $782,956 to be raised in taxes. To see if the town will vote to raise $63,473 by taxation for the running expenses and liabilities of the library. To see if, Article 10, to see if the town will vote to raise $13,000 by taxation to increase the librarian's hours by 8 hours per week. Article 11, to see if the town will raise $2,100 by taxation for the old cemetery fund. Article 12, to see if the town will vote to raise $21,243 by taxation for the support of social services as recommended by the Social Services Committee. Article 13, to see if the town will vote to raise $200,000 by taxation to be held in a reserve account for the purchase of new highway department equipment. Article 14, to see if the town will vote to raise $50,000 by taxation to be held in a reserve account for the repair, renovation of Town Hall. This includes prompt compliance with the American Disabilities Act for building accessibility and an ADA compliant bathroom. Article 15, to see if the town will vote to raise $50,000 by taxation to be held in a reserve account for the restoration of the Stone Arch Bridge on Back Windham Road. Article 16, to see if the town will vote to decide what the format for town meeting will be in the future. Article 17, to see if the town will vote to authorize the Select Board to acquire land by gift or purchase from municipal forests to promote reforestation, water conservation, and good forestry practices. Article 18, to transact any other non-binding business to properly come before said meeting. Article 19, to see if the town will vote to set the first Tuesday in March 2025 as the date for the 2025 Town of Townsend annual meeting.
Okay, thank you. Any comments, concerns? This is the first reading of this, at least publicly. There are a couple of things in here that were put in here just because the town needs to be able to, the town members need to be aware of and be able to vote up or down. $200,000 by taxation for the highway equipment fund, $50,000 for the repair of this building, another $50,000 for the bridge. All of those need the voters to look at it and debate it. And there's one in here about the changing of the way the town meeting is run in the future. And that one is concerning because if I understand it right, it's looking at having the town, these articles, this information voted in on by Australian ballot and basically abolishing what we have right now. So
Did somebody from a member of the public bring that? Is that how that got there?
Town clerk,
town clerk.
based on what she's hearing about other towns doing.
Just the wording wise, is it a reserve account or is it a capital fund account?
Where are you talking about?
Any of them. We got the 200,000, the 50,000, the 50,000.
Well, I would think at least the 200,000 would be a capital equipment fund.
Well, it says reserve account.
Yeah.
I think it would be a capital fund account.
Okay.
And the same with the other ones. And the other one, what is the Australian ballot part?
The town clerk has put forward a change in the way the town meeting is structured, and that it will be all by Australian ballot, and there wouldn't be the town meeting the way it is right now.
Well,
I think she got some feedback from somebody that said that it disenfranchised certain people that had to work and couldn't attend. And I mean, like these major articles here need to have the people's opinions.
but that's where you get the people that stand back in the back row and sling arrows, is the Australian ballot, proven by Newfane.
Yeah.
They went over the Australian ballot, I don't know, 5 years ago, however long ago it was. And now you get people that they don't really care about what's going on, but they just keep slinging arrows from the back row.
Yeah.
And it's like, if you really care, you'll show up.
Can I ask a question about
Sure.
the reserve versus capital? I didn't change any wording.
Okay.
What was submitted to me was submitted to me. Do we have the authority to change?
I would look into the wording of it as far as what's gone on in the past.
Well, it has to be done tonight because it goes, the report goes tomorrow and we need a signed warrant. So,
Well, we can get out a
I know that the,
prior year town report and
well,
look
that's what it
into it.
is. The prior year, I think people were looking at prior years and they refer to reserves. The last few, particularly the Stone Arch Bridge one.
Reserve sounds vague enough that it could very well be a capital reserve.
No, we can always vote to change the name of it later. I mean, once it's in that, once we have those funds, if we need to change it to something else, I think we can just vote on it and do it.
The highway department equipment one, we could change tonight because that is coming out of this entity, if you want to change that. I could change that, but
Thoughts?
I'm not too worried about it
Okay.
as far as the wording.
Okay.
Okay.
If it hasn't changed, it hasn't changed, but if it has changed, then I wanna know why it has changed.
Okay, does anybody else see anything with this that concerns them? We got one minor change. And we'll read this again.
Yeah, I'm ready to vote on it.
Katie?
If we vote on it,
Yeah.
does this mean that, I don't see anything about the Australian ballot.
No, that's
I'm not
going to the
voting.
floor.
Okay,
That's going to the floor.
good.
Yes.
And I think you and I have the same opinion about it. It's not a good thing that these things aren't aired out and questions asked and answers given. Because you're right, Australian ballot may be fine for COVID, but what's the matter now? People need to, and we experienced some of that in COVID where, you know, we had the public sessions on Zoom and nobody came. People that came were basically presenters or somebody that was going to be asked to explain their budget, and nobody came. And then they just voted on it without any input.
Knowledge.
Yeah, knowledge, input, questions answered. So, no, anything that's on here is up for debate at town meeting. Okay. All those entertain a motion to accept the town report, or the warning for town meeting for 2024.
Moved.
Any further questions?
Who seconded it?
I tried to.
We both moved and then she seconded it.
That was Kate.
Yeah.
Okay. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
4-0. If you get
I'll
that
retype it.
changed, Connie, and we'll move on. All right, proposed budgets. You'll see a stack of stuff, right? A summary, basically, a budget comparison summary. And what this says is the actual town budget for next budget year will be raised by 11.15%. The highway fund, that took a bigger hit at 27.4%, 42%. And what this chart for proposed FY25 does is break down where we are or were in 24, the differences up and down in the percentage. So, quite honestly, keeping it to 11% on the general fund was a lot better than I thought we were going to do.
Yeah, me too.
Good job, guys.
And then the Connie, it's totally gone out of my head, budget comparison. This thing,
It's just a chart that compares warnings to warnings,
okay,
because it includes any kind of money that is able to bring down the cost for what we have to raise in taxes. It's just a comparison between the two. And you'll see that it really helps. That $200,000 surplus from the FEMA money that came in.
now that was FEMA money for July storm, or that
No,
was
for the
2 years ago?
2021 storm.
Oh, wow.
All right. Next up, there's a budget status report. I don't think we need to go through.
No, this is the actual final budget
Oh, the final.
that
budget.
is reflected in the town report. That's the
Okay.
final budget that we approved last week, but with the revenues, they're gonna be slightly different numbers.
All right, I'll let you all go through that. You have it at your leisure. If anything, one of the things that you will notice in this is there are a lot of transfers. Anything that had to do with insurance, computers, that stuff is taken out of the individual departments and consolidated. The computers no longer belong to individual departments like it was in the past. They belong to the town. So that all fits into, again, these funds, and they track them through these designated funds. And the other thing is, it will eventually, probably next year, more than this year, but it will eventually give a real figure for how the departments are run, not guessed figures for like the telephone. None of them know how the phone works, how the phone system's paid for and what it costs. None of them know what the different insurances are. So it'll give us a tighter way of looking at things. And I just wanted to bring one more thing up before we move on to the next thing. Is in here is the quarterly claims report from our insurance company. Quarterly or biannual? Fine.
It's quarterly.
Quarterly. Okay. All right. So we approved the warning. We'll move on to Liza Martin's penalty. All right. This issue has gotten a little more complicated, and it was put on the table last meeting, but a couple of other things have come to make it more, or for us to deal with. It will need to be explored. So I hope to get this straightened out so we're ready for next meeting to go with it. Stone Arch Bridge contract. Good evening, Charlie.
Yeah.
All right, so there's there's a pretty good sized package of information. And there's a email from Lee Petty about this $50,000 issue. And Connie, you've been working with it the most. Why don't you kind of bring us up to speed?
So if you remember at the last select board meeting, we had a discussion about some MOUs, but the board decided at the last select board meeting to finalize the contract with Standing Stone contractor at this board meeting, so that we could try to ensure that the timeline stays the same for being able to work on the bridge this summer. So what you have in front of you is some modifications to the original contract that came out of some of the issues that had been raised. So the original bid that you voted on and approved is not included, but it will be in the final document, but it's just so large and it hasn't changed, so I didn't include it. So what's in front of you is the actual contract to be signed between the select board and Standing Stone. And that is a pretty standard document that we've modified for the Stone Arch Bridge. It has been reviewed and approved by the Director of Historical Preservation for the state of Vermont, James Duggan, has been in on this process and has reviewed it and said that it's good to go. It has been reviewed by Lee Petty on the Townshend Historical Society, who is the administrator to the grant and on the supervisory committee. It has been reviewed and agreed upon by Brian Post, the head of Standing Stone Company. He has added his edits and questions, and we have been back and forth with him on that. So it's pretty much a final document. What the most recent changes to that contract are the result of the issue of the mortar and the issue of including the drainage into the scope of work, which we did a couple select board meetings ago. So in that document is a chart that's pretty detailed on benchmarks when certain aspects of the project are going to be completed and what cost goes along with that and when they're invoiced to either the Historical Society who manages the grant or the town who is covering the drainage costs. So it's ready to be signed if anybody has any questions. I do want to point out that the reason I included that email with the yellow highlight from Lee Petty is that there is currently $50,000 of the project that is not yet funded. And that is the result of this mortar issue that came in late in the game and has created a lot of research and discussion. We discussed it at the last meeting. And the Historical Society has already gotten pledges to cover majority of that additional mortar cost, but does not have $50,000 of it yet covered. So fundamentally, the select board should ask any questions, and myself or Brian or maybe Charlie will do our best to answer any questions, or Lee, who is also on. But fundamentally, we've had lots of discussion over the last couple select board meetings. This document reflects those discussions, and fundamentally the select board needs to decide if they're going to trust that this Townshend Historical Society will raise the additional $50,000 to cover the remaining costs of the mortar and feel comfortable signing the document.
Thank you. Any questions?
Is this $50,000 reflected in Article 16? Is that to see if the town will vote to raise $50,000 for the Stone Arch Bridge on Back Wyndham Road?
So you'll have to ask, the Townshend Historical Society submitted that article and they can answer that question themselves, but I believe it is to cover the additional costs.
Got it. So this will be voted on by the town on the floor. Okay.
Jeremy, what are your thoughts about this and where it's at and what we have to do? And,
As far as what?
well, we've got contract to sign off on. There's some of it that I'm assuming you guys are gonna do, like the paving. Is that correct, or are we?
Paving, that's already
That would
been,
not be in this contract.
the paving is separate, which I'm accounting for in this year's budget as far as the paving and treatment goes.
Okay,
So that end of it is covered.
all right.
My only concern at this point is not having the parapets nailed down. Just because it doesn't really make much sense to do the project unless they can integrate all that into the base as they're building the bridge back up. Because, you know, It needs to be structurally sound.
And these are anchor points?
Anchor points, yes.
The discussion around that, and Brian and Lee can correct me if I'm wrong on this, at the last select board meeting, when we decided to not include the railings into the contract, I believe that Brian at the time said that there is a few months for us to decide on the design. Even though he can start the project, there'll be a period of time where we will have the ability to come up with a design before he gets to that portion of the project.
Okay.
And I don't know, Brian, if you want to add something to that?
Yeah, I can speak on this briefly. So the reason that this has been brought forward at this point in time is because the National Park Service needs 3 months to review the proposal and approve it. And we can use that time as well as some of the time even when we're starting the construction to finalize the railing design. It got really held up because it was very difficult to find an engineer that was willing to work on this project, and that has happened. So it's in progress now. My aim would be in the next couple months to have this resolved. And to Jeremy's point, I think, Connie can correct me, the town did approve some money towards the railings, and that would be enough to establish the anchor points that we need as we're doing the masonry work. So there's really pretty good impetus for moving forward with this, and there's a couple of options in terms of the railings and parapets that are in discussion with some of the grant fundies and the engineers, including, can we do something temporary for a certain amount of time, and what the most cost-effective options are that the National Park Service is design review will allow.
Okay. Any questions?
The only other thing that I would point out is that the drainage discussion, there is a drainage MOU in this contract. Brian has revised it so that it's more detailed upon Rob's request, so you'll find that more detailed schematic in the contract.
Yeah, I believe one of the appendices shows some detailed plans. It might be a little bit small to read there, but they got pretty detailed in terms of what's planned.
I do notice in the executive summary of the revised proposal, item 1 mentions a lower source for granite, reducing the price by $40,000. How is that? Will that reflect an offset of costs in any way for the town, or is that for the grant? Okay.
Go ahead.
I was just gonna say that's for the project, which is not including the railings, but it will, and not for the drainage system, but it will reduce the overall cost.
Yeah, it was used to basically offset part of the cost of the mortar discovery.
All right.
Okay. Any further questions, concerns? Brian, one of the things that was brought up about this was the people that live out there on the wrong side.
Mm-hmm.
There's, my understanding is there's no way to route them around other than up over that hill, correct? The bridge is going to be pretty much totally closed.
That's correct. Our aim is to minimize the amount of time, but it will be several months that it is closed.
Okay.
I think that, once the contract is signed, I do hope to be able to speak with the homeowners directly so that we can work with them as it's so close into their yards and stuff. You know, I've met with one informally just because he was there when we were surveying the bridge and talked a little bit about it. He seemed very supportive. But you know, we're going to be right on their doorsteps, so having good relationships there is going to be helpful.
Yeah, I would encourage you to do that, and we can see about somebody from the town to be there as well in talking to these people as far ahead as you can. It just, if they've got a clear understanding of what you're doing, where you're doing it, how you're doing it, and how long they're gonna have to go up over that hill.
Yep.
It may cause some, less problems. We just got over a thing with the electrical company that pretty much we were guaranteed all of that and it never happened. So, I just please make sure you reach out to those people.
Yeah.
It's also my understanding that it will be the responsibility of the town for signage on detouring and whatnot.
That's correct.
Okay.
And the proposed start date would be, what's the proposed start date for the project?
The proposed start date is currently May 15th, and that is, I believe, due to when I'm not sure the department, the fisheries department will let work over a brook begin. If we're able to start sooner, I'd be able to start about May 1st, but I think due to the permitting, we probably can't till mid-May.
Jeremy, do you have any insider information about the project in Wyndham, how long that might take?
I was told this week they wanted to basically have the road closed for, I think you said all of this week and possibly part of next week.
Oh, a couple weeks, okay.
So
I thought it was till the 8th. Doesn't the sign says till the 8th, I think?
till the 8th.
Yeah,
Yeah.
which is a lot of traffic over the bridge on back Wyndham.
Yeah.
I was concerned about that one.
We have posted, I did posted signs for no truck traffic. But yeah,
Okay.
it was a couple of weeks, possibly a couple of weeks, depending on how smooth the project goes.
Sure.
I mean, it's a fairly simple system they're putting in up there, so.
Okay, cool, thanks.
And
Okay.
we will be taking extra care of the road just for that reason, so.
Okay. Do we have a motion to accept and sign the contract?
So moved.
Second? Is there a second?
Second?
Is there any further discussion? Any other questions that need to be answered? Rob, do you have any?
Where are we standing with the parapets and the other stuff? This is just for the construction or the tearing the bridge apart and rebuilding the bridge?
With the drainage system.
Yeah, this
Drainage.
includes the drainage and the
The
parapets have been
$16,000.
separated out for now.
Is it just the railings that have been separated out, or is it the anchor points? Or-
Again, I think Brian can answer this. What I just heard was that that we have certainly a few months to figure out the design, but the anchoring system should not be a problem in that as well. I can't remember what you just said.
What I understood, yeah, the anchoring system is not part of this current proposal. However, my understanding from the last board meeting was that 20,000 was approved towards the railing. And so at a minimum, that would be able to cover the anchor points so we could finish the masonry elements of the bridge completely, without having to acquire more funds for the railing right at this particular moment. Depending on the railing design, it might cover more than just that. That's we're definitely working to try to come up with the most cost-effective option we can.
Okay. That work?
So what's the total amount that needs to come up, needs to be raised in order to get to this $829,100? Where do we stand, Charlie, right now?
Charlie just got back, so I'm
I
not
just
sure
got
he's
back
quite in the
on-
loop. Lee
Road
Petty,
trip to
who's on
Arizona.
the Zoom, would have the best understanding, but it's my understanding that they are $50,000 short of covering the additional cost that the mortar has presented them. Again, the parapets, the select board has approved $20,000 for parapets and railings. There is, the $20,000 will cover the initial phase of the anchoring system, but there will still be an issue out there about the railings.
Go ahead, Lee.
We've determined that we have about 50,000 to raise. The Historical Society has voted in favor of supporting this contract as it is, and supported the fact that we all believe we can raise the additional $50,000. If it comes from the voters through the article, that would be wonderful. But what we'd like even best is to, between now and town meeting, to find a donor or donors for that amount of money so that we can withdraw our article and tell the voters, thank you for all that they've already given to the project. So we can do this, and we will. We are very confident.
Okay. Any other questions? All right, so we have a motion, and it's been seconded. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Abstention? Okay.
I'm sorry, I gotta get the vote again. I'm not sure everybody voted, so. If you just had a vote again.
I said aye.
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 Rob?
I'd like to see the 50,000 raised before I commit to a contract, to be honest with you. I mean, I think if we sign the contract, we're gonna be on the hook for the 50,000, if it's not raised, right?
Essentially, you're right, yes.
There is a clause, if I may speak, there's a clause in the contract, which you may or may not have read, that says that in writing, within 30 days of the start of the contract, either party, the town or the contractor, may withdraw from the contract for just cause or no cause. And so we feel that if we don't have that money 30 days ahead of May 1st, then we have that option of withdrawing from the contract as is provided in the contract itself.
I'm all for it as long as the town isn't paying a lot more than we've already allocated for it.
Okay.
Does that make sense?
It does.
So is that a fourth vote in favor, or?
Yes.
Okay, great.
Okay. All righty, so we have that taken care of. Thank you for all your work on this, Charlie and Lee and Connie and, I'm sorry, what's your name again?
Brian.
Right.
Brian, there we go. I lose all of the names when their faces come up, so.
Thank you.
And like I said before, I would really appreciate it, and I think the people that live up there would too, to be, face to face. And
Yeah.
Should we, there is two contracts for the select board to sign so that we can send them to Brian for his signature.
Okay. Thank you, Brian.
Thank you.
Thank you very much for everyone's work on this. It's really a milestone tonight, and we will carry forward.
Take care, Lee. Thank you.
Thank you, Select Board.
Thank you, Charlie, for your effort in this.
It's the last page.
Is there happening tomorrow?
All right, we have a bunch of requests for use of the common and town hall. First one is from Elizabeth Martin. She wants to run a craft fair to benefit the food shelf and the gazebo. Problem
So
with this
should we,
one,
I don't know if you want to go according to the agenda or just want to go,
well, that was just the way they run.
okay. So Liza Martin.
Yeah. She doesn't have the insurance that we require. I think that's one precedent we've made clear across the board, that you have to have the insurance. Just sign the
I
comment.
think Rob didn't sign it.
Yeah, you did.
He signed that one.
Oh. Yeah, we did.
You should
No,
sign the
that's
second
good.
one. You should have two
No, there's
signed
only three.
copies.
Yeah.
Did I hand you the second one? Is that yours?
No.
Okay.
Everyone has signed the warning.
No, not yet. We'll get that one's done. Okay, so thoughts on the use permit for this endeavor? That's for the gazebo, that's part of the gazebo committee, and do we say yes to it? Or this is a private thing that needs an insurance?
The gazebo committee would be under the town.
Right, correct. She says in her request, the craft fair to benefit the food shelf and the gazebo.
We never talked about that.
Well, no, we'd accept the fund. She's already, her last fundraiser, she made a donation to the gazebo.
Okay.
I don't think it represents the gazebo committee though.
What's that?
I don't think it represents the gazebo committee.
She's just saying where she's gonna make a donation to.
Yeah.
Yes.
Honestly, I think we really need to stick to what we have for everybody else and require some form of insurance. Either that or get involved with the library again when she did it, and they can cover it through their thoughts, opinions.
I agree. We've held everyone to that thus far.
Okay. Rob, you all set?
I'm with the holding until the insurance.
Okay.
Yeah.
You good? All right, so insurance is the problem that needs to be rectified.
Is that a vote to, is there a vote that we have to take to not approve it, or we just?
I don't think we need to.
Okay.
I think if it gets sent back to her and say, look, you need insurance, then we can vote on it.
You want a motion? I'd make a motion to accept her common use town hall request on February 3rd, the 24th, from 10 to 3, upon providing insurance.
Okay, there's a motion. Is there a second?
Second.
All right, any further? No? Okay, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
4-0. Would you send that back? Fine, please. Next one. Grace Cottage Family Health. This is for the town common, their summer event. They want the common from 7/29 to 8/2, 7/29/24. It's at 8/2, and it's having me put an event up and then tearing it down afterwards is the reason for the length. And the insurance certificate is with it.
Before you get a correction there, Fair Day is on 8, 3 or 4, 8.3 and breakdown is on 8.4. I think I put 8.2, which is
Yeah.
wrong.
All right, I'll change that on this.
Sorry about that.
Okay. Entertain a motion to accept the Grace Cottage Fair
So moved.
Days.
Second.
And like I said, there is the insurance policy. Any further? Okay, and do you want me to sign this document on behalf of the board?
Please.
All right. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? No. Let's see, it's 123. Connie, just double check those numbers. I think I caught the ones that. Okay, the next one is Leland and Gray Players. This is their drama department. Would like to use the theater upstairs to put on an event. Let's see, 3 to 5 p.m. Monday, Tuesday, and Thursday. What's that, until March 15th, 16th? Shows 5 to 8. I think the thing is gonna happen in March. I'm not sure what the rest of that is.
I think maybe they're wanting to reserve it to to probably set up and rehearse Monday, Tuesday, and Thursday with the shows. It looks like being on the 15th and the
So I
16th.
think they want to start as soon as possible using it on Tuesdays and Thursdays to prepare for shows that are happening on the 15th and 16th.
So they're gonna use a regular rehearsal.
Yeah.
All right. We do have an insurance. Be nice to have that place be used
Yeah.
like this.
Make a motion to allow the Leland and Gray Players to use upstairs on the 15th and 16th for shows 5 p.m. to 8 p.m. on the 15th and 12 to, I think it says 9 on the 16th, and using it for, and having the setup a few days in advance.
The rehearsal days?
Yes.
Are they trying to regular?
They would be starting like almost immediately for, is it called rehearsals? For preparing
Yeah.
for it.
Yeah, it'd be rehearsal days.
My one question would be, when they come into the rehearsal part, do they need to have it heated?
Yes, it would be heated. On all the days that they're up there. We would turn on the heat.
So they're saying starting now on Mondays, Tuesdays, and Thursdays until March 15th, they want to use the upstairs to rehearse the play and then move into their performances.
Yeah, that's,
I don't know as though we've had a situation where they would use it in the middle of the winter time for the heat part. That would be my only concern.
When I asked about it, I think the concern is that the Dutton gym in the winter time is pretty active with sports. So
Basketball.
they're running into some scheduling issues and cleanup and just the space. That and the new drama teacher, I guess, I don't know if he's a teacher, really likes the space and likes the idea of having a stage and a more theatrical setting.
you all right with that?
Yeah, I mean, I made the motion, so.
All right, you did, sorry. Not tracking so well tonight, apparently. There's been a motion, is there a second?
Second.
Okay, any further discussion?
I'd like to see the heat kind of held to a reasonable manner, not 75 and let it
It
roll
will get
forever.
turned on as they come, it's not gonna stay on all the time.
All right. And the same question about having me sign on behalf of the board.
Please.
All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
4-0. And now we have SEVCA. SEVCA would like to come here during, from 9 to 4
On 3 days.
on 3 dates, 2/16, 3/22, and 4/12 of 24. And this is to help people who have problems with filing their taxes.
I think that's a great idea.
They'd be working down here. They wouldn't be using upstairs, they'd be working right out of here. All right. Entertain a motion to allow SEVCA to use or to use the space here to help people with their taxes on 2/16, 3/22, 4/12, and we do have the insurance certificate for that.
So moved.
Is there a second?
Second?
Any discussion?
Would you be waiving the fee?
They're doing it for the people here, I would think so.
Well, we pay them for social services.
Yeah.
I think it's a volunteer program, so I'm not sure that paid staff are necessarily going to be running this. I think it's a volunteer scenario.
I've seen events like this in other states and other cities where it's volunteer tax preparers brought together by a larger program, and they volunteer their time and their expertise to help people, oftentimes low-income people or elderly people or some marginalized individuals prepare their taxes correctly and make sure they do everything they need to do.
Okay. The fee, yes or no?
I think the fee should be waived.
Okay. All
I
right.
don't think it should be waived in the sense that we pay them for social services, and if we pay, then they should pay us. I mean, at least one time. Maybe not all 3.
I think it's a nice service that the town hall could use to support our local business owners who might have difficulty with their taxes. It doesn't sound like SEVCA is going to be making any income from these events, so I'd be happy to host them here.
Okay. All those in favor of SEVCA using the space free of charge, signify by saying aye.
Hi.
Hi.
Aye. Opposed?
All right.
Okay. 3 and 1. Same thing, same question about signing off on it.
Yes, please.
Yes.
Alright. That one goes up. Next thing is, here's the warning with the correction.
There's one more item on the agenda, Sherwood, which is the Bartlett tree.
Oh, that's right. Where did that go? So many pieces of
That's in the
paper.
new business section.
All right, let's see here. It's at the end of the stack. Got it. All right, Bartlett tree. These are people that have been taking care of the common for quite a while. And it looks like they want to take down a tree that's dying or they feel is not going to last on its own. They've also got treatments going here. I don't see what the final figure is though. Removing the declining tree and stump. Getting rid of the stump is $1,050. Stump grinding $650. Treatment of the other trees $560 for one treatment. And there wasn't anything, was there? Don't we usually pay these people about $3,500 a year?
Yes.
Yeah.
Does this fit within our budget?
Yeah.
Jeremy, do you think that you could remove the tree?
Yeah, we can take the tree down for sure. We won't be able to grind it.
No,
We can do-
yeah, I understand the grinding, but removing the tree wouldn't be a big deal, I wouldn't think. So that might
That'll cut some of that out.
cut some of the
And
costs
then
off
would
of
they
it.
come in and grind it if they
Yes.
take it down?
They pay, or they charge us to
If they
do it,
don't,
but,
we got somebody that would,
okay.
or we could find somebody that would.
I mean, go rent a stump grinder.
Yeah.
So we
Yeah.
could rent a stump grinder.
The only thing I'd like to see about if they're gonna take one down, put another one in its place. Doesn't have to be great big, but, I just think it needs to be, replaced.
So then they would just come in and plant.
I would make a motion to table this, talk with Bartlett, see about removing the tree ourselves, see if they'll grind the stumps and then proceed with the rest of the contract as far as fertilizing, and then inquire about planting another tree in replacement of the one removed.
Okay, all right, that's good. Made and seconded, so we'll put it on the table. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Did anyone
Or-
second that motion?
I did.
Sorry.
Okay. We have one small thing for an executive session, that there will be no report out, because it's a personnel issue. So I entertain a motion to adjourn the regular meeting and go into executive session.
So moved.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
4-0. Thank you.